All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We're going to go over Weebly's settings and how to set up our interface. So that means really the layout of our website. Okay. So this is what this video is specifically going to be on. If you have any questions in regards any of the tabs on the left, that would be website, items, orders, and so on. You can go ahead and look for the video and you would get the explanation on these sections. All right. So now moving forward, we're going to go to our edit site function. Um, and so back here, we're going to get really familiar with the top bar, and that's going to be our navigation bar. The reason we're going to get really familiar with this is how we're going to, manage the main points on our website. So build, okay, the first tab is build. And on the left side, we have all of the modules or elements we will need to build our website, okay? So as you can tell, if we wanted to add buttons, social icons, slideshows, videos, YouTube, products, so on and so forth, we'll have all of this to our left, okay? Now, on the very top, we have our pages as well next to build. And when we go ahead and click on pages, our left panel changes and we can see the tabs that are on the website and also the drop down. Okay, so right here we're hovering over the menswear and we could see that we have a couple of drop down selections. And so what this allows us to do is build on this select category, right, without it being too busy. So you can add as many as you'd like. You can get really custom if you want, if you have t-shirts, bottoms, socks specifically that are men's, you can, like I said, you can get as custom as you'd like and add as many as you'd like. If you like to add more pages, okay, so we want to add more pages to our website, we're going to go ahead and click this plus button up top and we can add a standard page. And if we click standard page, we would go ahead and start with a blank page, right? So this allows us to create a page from scratch. So right here, I would go ahead and name this, let's see, new collection, right? I would always want to go ahead and make sure that I just copy and paste this in my page title, okay? And so this is how it's going to appear in your URL when people actually search this up or they happen to land on this page. This is going to be the custom URL, the backend link. Okay. Now on the bottom here we have the page description. You can go ahead and describe what this page is about. The details. Really use keywords that have to do with your niche or what the product that you're presenting. Okay, that's very important. Now we have on the bottom of our page description the meta keywords section. If you're not familiar with meta keywords, you can implement a few keywords as that sounds. That's literally what that means. Keywords is implementing keywords that have to do with your niche. Okay, so if you have an apparel that has to do with just business suits, a business attire, or streetwear, we would put, fashion streetwear, comma, whatever city you're at, if you want to pinpoint that city, Oklahoma street fashion, comma, and so on and so forth. So you can get very detailed, and it's just like hashtags. Okay, it's just a channel so people that are looking for these things can interact and run into your site by accident, or you can start ranking in these platforms because you have these channels that they're looking for in the search engine. Okay, so that's a little rundown on the SEO and the meta keyword settings. We're going to go ahead and click done. And as you can tell, we have this new page on the bottom down here, and it is the new collection. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click build. And remember that when you make a new page, you might be like, oh, wow, how do I get to the build selection again? It's, you go back and you go back. I've had people call me. Remember, your build button, your build tab will always be available so you can build onto whatever page you're on. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and add a image up top. As you can tell, I looked for my image element. I dragged it over, and the neat part about Weebly is that I can get as custom as I'd like, right, with no limitations. And it's user friendly, and I can very easily design my website as I would like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my header, and it's going to be the new collection. Okay, as you guys can tell, I'm a little bit nervous, but I gotta get this YouTube channel out, because if I don't get moving on this, I'm always gonna sit out on this, and I'm gonna look back at this video and say, look, V, this is that night you sat down and said, I'm gonna get this YouTube channel going. No matter if I'm stuttering, muttering, or whatever, I gotta get this information out there. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and having patience for me. I'm doing the best to get these videos collectively put together. So if you guys can give me any feedback, I appreciate it. All the love. All right. So I was able to change the header up top, and now I want to make sure that I like white. Some people like the dark, but as a web designer, I know what pops. And as you can tell, this pops a little bit more than the black. Some people would prefer the black or anything else. You can get creative, but also, even if you were to say, look, V, I want that to be yellow, you have to remember that it has to be a website appealing to the eye. No matter what it is that you'd like, you have to think as a consumer. So remember that as you continue to build onto your website. This is very important. Okay? Another thing that's very important is to make sure that you stick to your theme. Okay, so what I mean by that, if your accent is red as such on on this website, which is my website, stick to the red. Okay, so make sure we don't have green, gray, burgundy, violet. That sounds all really cool, but like I said, we don't want to overstimulate the consumer. We want to make sure that they get to the product they like, the product that they saw, that they were interested, wherever they saw it, or if they were interested in visiting their website, that they could see as much as possible without any interruptions. So try not to make it so busy, keep it clean, and like I said, always keep the consumer's perspective in mind. Okay. Okay. So now the third tab would be theme. All right. So theme is where we would go ahead and choose. We would come in here if we wanted to change the theme. So this has to do with what I just went over. And, you can go ahead and click the green. As you can tell, it automatically changes all of the basic settings. You would have to come in here and manually change the headers. Okay. So you would come in here and manually change the headers if you wanted to change the color of your theme. If your logo, say, had teal, right? That would be cool if you can use the teal option and it could give the accent to your logo. So always keep that in mind. Another thing, if you wanted to change the theme of your layout, okay, so if you're like, I don't think this theme is the best fit for my website, you can always come to change theme, right? And we can go to change theme, and it's going to display a different different selections of layouts that we can work from. All right. So these are all templates that are already set up for us to use. And all we got to do is plug and play our pieces. All right. So we got to put our content, our media. And I always suggest that you always have quality images higher than 300 DPI. Okay. Very important. The better the quality of your images, it's very important that your business looks as 2.0 and legit as possible. All right. Now, back here in theme, we'll be able to change our fonts. I'm not sure why this looks like this. Let's see. Okay, there we go. On the, excuse me, we're going to go to theme, and we're going to be able to change fonts from here. And this is the way we can change the fonts to a certain selection. So if it was like the site titles as If we want to change the font just to the site titles above, as you can tell, when we hover over this, there's a blue outline. So it will always verify that we're working with this area. Okay, so like the paragraph title, as you can tell, it highlighted our missions. So all the titles in this website are going to change once I go ahead and come in here and change the settings in here. All of these headers will change. Okay, so keep this in mind. Yes, you can come in here and manually change it aside from that modification or setting, but you would have to do that manually and specifically come in here and be like, oh, well, I actually want this one to be pink, right? All right, so like I said, make sure that the font that you want to change on your website is actually highlighted blue just to verify that that is the correct area that you're working with, okay? Sometimes you make a mistake and you accidentally change that font prior and you don't remember the name. That happens to be the case sometimes. But another thing that I encourage is to keep your website at a minimum of 2 fonts only. Okay. Don't, like I said, it always goes back to overstimulating the consumer. All right. Get straight to the point. What does your brand stand for? What do you have? Let's check out the dope apparel you got. All right. Now, let's see what else we could find on themes. We went over change fonts, theme options. Sometimes they give us an option here if we want the full width of the website, and it just means if we want to go ahead and cut it short, cut the edges in, just the visuals of the display of the site, the interface. Okay. Now, up above, we have apps, and apps is right next to theme. As you can tell, we have theme, and apps is the 4th tab over. Now here we'll find any other apps that we want to implement onto our site. So if we want to add a countdown app and that wasn't available in our element section, then we would go ahead and come in here and look for the countdown element or app that will help us integrate or add to our website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one. Most of them say free to $39, and really the demos are always worth having. Okay, so the free gives you enough to run with. So what I mean by that is it says free to $39, and the case is that you just need the free trial. You'll stay on the demo forever unless you you're ready to move forward with the 39 and up plan, and we'll go over that in a different video. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add this. We can connect an app. Sorry, my computers are a little bit slow. And so now you can tell that I have this countdown element available to me in my builder section. I'm going to go ahead and drag it over. And now I get set up my own countdown. All right, so that was a quick example of what you can do in the app section and how you can also get a little bit more custom with your website by looking for different functions to implement on your site. Okay. So aside from apps, in here you can come in here and look at the 4 main tabs. Make a couple social apps, boost traffic. Really, I don't use any of these except for the ones that will enhance my website. And so you can get custom in the search engine with what you're looking for. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and go to settings. And back here, you'll see that we have the general settings. And what I mean by that is, one, the site address, as you can tell, the site title. So when we look up this website, this will be the top. It will show on top of, as you can tell, show title, the top of the page. Our website is an online store. Okay, if you have a business, if this is a portfolio, if you're a photographer, you can go ahead and do a portfolio site only. If it's a personal website, if you're a personal influencer, if you have an event that you're hosting and you're just going to do a splash page, you can get these settings, excuse me, back here. If you're a blogger, okay, if this is a pre-launch, like I said, you can go ahead and specify there. This is where you make sure that your SSL is enabled. So if your website ever says not secure up top here, we want to make sure when we come to settings and refresh and make sure that our SSL is enabled. All right. So if it's disabled, it's going to look like this. All right. And up top, it's going to say, not secure. Okay. We always want to make sure we have that green lock so people feel safe buying from our store. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's published. All right. We want to make sure that's published. Now we have a favicon. If you guys are familiar with a favicon, if I was able to look this website up, as you can tell, up top right here, I have the logo. All right. Probably can't see it because my mode is dark mode. Okay. Let's see. Really back here, you don't mess with much unless you have a marketing company that you have working for you, but I don't specifically recommend you need to start with one. You can do a lot of this settings on your own, and this is why I do train my clients and anybody that is watching this video, because Weebly is a great hub for a business that is starting and wants to be able to manage their site the most effective way. All right. As a web designer, I encourage WordPress and Shopify for more of a e-commerce website, right? And depending on how many products you're selling. But if you are starting off a business, even if you're drop shipping up to 15 items, 50 to 200 items, this Weebly is just a great hub to use as well. It's SEO friendly, and you're able to do a lot of that back end work, which saves you a lot of money, and it's very good to know the ins and outs of your business. All right. We're going to go ahead and save these. So now today, what we went over is what each one of these tabs will do for us, okay? And how we can manage Weebly using these tabs and the settings on each tab. All right. Now, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below on what I went over today. I really appreciate any feedback. Like I said, this is my first video, and I'm really excited to keep going. Thank you guys for having me tonight. Thank you. Have a good night.